We had a house guest stay over Saturday night, a 6-week-old kitten. So the later in pregnancy you get, a line starts to appear. I realize I have not shown you like my bare stomach this entire time, which I find really funny. Something happened on Tuesday. I'm just going to read what I wrote here, then I'll further explain what happened. Not where I expected this day to go. 34 weeks and I've been having some contractions. Okay, who caught this in the last couple of videos? My son moved the words up because they were at the bottom, like along the bottom. He moved them up and switched the letters, and I just now noticed. I gotta fix that. Okay, we're good. Hello, everybody. I have the Jaws theme song playing in my head just now when I looked at the screen and saw like my stomach. Oh my word. Okay, this is where I'm at, clearly. Hello, welcome back if you've been a long-time watcher, I suppose. Hello, if you've never seen my face before. My name is Tasha. I'm a gestational surrogate. That means I am currently 35 weeks pregnant with a baby that is not mine. There are intended parents who live locally that are very excited to welcome this baby. What more can I say? If you're curious about what that means, you can go up here and watch my vlog series that I have for this pregnancy. There's a lot of videos. I'm surprised. Like, I did not think there were gonna be this many. Obviously, there were gonna be like roughly 40, but I think there's way more than that because I've been doing weekly updates. Now, I didn't do one last week because I had a lot going on, and by the time I got home on Sunday, I was exhausted and did not feel like filming a video. So there isn't one from last week. We're gonna go over the things that I would have told you last week. So, baby update. I did get a bump picture and I'll put that on the screen also, but I didn't record a video. Part of that reason is because we had a house guest. We had a 6-week-old kitten stay over Saturday night. And so that was a lot of prep, getting her settled, making sure that she had, you know, food and water, and gave her a bath because she smelled like a barn, and brought her upstairs to the living room and let her play with some toys, which funny enough, her favorite toy was one my cats don't like. So I gave all of those specific toys to her new owner, which is my cousin. She really likes the plastic balls that have the bell inside, and my cats could care less. Like, they would rather play with Nerf bullets. Literally, Nerf bullets. My son's cat is obsessed with them. He thinks they are the greatest toy ever. Yeah, we had a kitten last weekend. My ex-mother-in-law was in town, so we met up with her several times. And went over to took the cat over to my cousin's house on Sunday also. And so we picked her up Saturday afternoon, and then took her over to my cousin's on Sunday. And so by the time I got home, I was so tired. Obviously didn't record a video, didn't clean my house, did maybe one load of laundry. So my house right now is kind of a mess. As I'm looking around at all the things, it's quite the disaster. My mom came over the other day and I was leaning over the counter, stretching out my back because this bump is heavy. Leaning over and letting it just hang actually takes pressure off my back, funny enough, because you would think that it would arch your back more and like, no, I don't know. Anyway, so my mom was over talking to me and she was like rubbing my back. It felt great. Okay. And she's like, she said something like, you need something. I don't remember what it was she said, like a massage or something. And I was like, no, what I need is a housekeeper, to be completely honest. Like, it's a mess in here. And it's 99% of it is my preteen son's stuff, garbage, clothes. Like, anyway, moving on. So let's go over 34 weeks. So about 2 weeks ago. You don't care. Anyway, 34 weeks. Baby is the size of a cantaloupe. Now I want cantaloupe. That sounds really good. The pregnancy cravings are still very sporadic and random. Watermelon, definitely always. And now cantaloupe, apparently. So last weekend at 34 weeks, she would have been 17.84 inches long and 5¼ pounds. Oh boy. 34 weeks, aches and pains. Yes, definitely have those. My lower extremities especially are just so sore and achy when I get up in the morning and when I'm laying in bed. Like this morning I woke up and like my hips hurt, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, and all the bones in between hurt. Like they all ached. I'm not a fan. Clearly I'm sleeping with a pregnancy pillow, so I don't understand why they hurt so much. But as soon as I got up and started moving around, they didn't really hurt that much. Like now, they don't really hurt. So I can't explain that. But like, I know you're not supposed to lay on your back or sleep on your back, but sometimes in the morning, I'll just roll over onto my back and lay there for like a minute. And it is so much more comfortable, which is not good. Like, it's not good for you. It's not good for the baby, obviously, to do it for an extended period of time. But I do it for less than 5 minutes. I mean, I probably lay on my back longer in the doctor's office than I do, like, here at home. It's just nice to, like, take the pressure off of my legs for, like, a second before I roll out of bed. Literally roll. I roll out of bed. It's great. Ouch. Okay, 35 weeks. So right now, today, she is 18.23 inches and 5.72 pounds. I really hope this is accurate because I've gained quite a bit of weight. I actually stopped looking at the scale when I went to the doctor's office this last time. I'm like, I don't want to know. It just makes me sad, honestly. I don't want to know how much I've gained. Because at 32 weeks, I had already gained 30 pounds. So, like, I don't want to know anymore. No, thank you. I'm good. So, anyway, I stopped looking at the scale. I just do not care to know. Anyway, here is what the baby looks like now. So it has on here heartburn as a pregnancy symptom. It's interesting because I wouldn't classify what I have as heartburn because it doesn't burn. I don't know if it's acid reflux or I don't know. So, okay, I drink a lot of water. And I actually have a funny comment about that in a second. Something happened on Tuesday. I'll get into that in a sec. I take this with me everywhere that I go. I started doing it when I lived in Arizona because my mom would do it. We just bring water with us everywhere we go. And I don't know why, but I like drink water all the time. I don't know if that's like what everybody else does too, but if I'm going, like running to the store that's like 3 miles away, I still bring my water with me and I'll drink several times from like when I leave home to going to the store and coming back. Like I'll drink multiple times water. Anyway, long story short, when I lay down at night, occasionally, if I had been drinking a lot of water, not even a lot, just like drinking water before I go to bed, I will lay down and I can feel it start going back up my throat. Now, it doesn't burn, it just feels like it's coming back up. And it's very irritating. And I have to swallow like multiple times because it just keeps coming up. I'm not a fan. I don't like it. It is a weird, uncomfortable feeling. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't burn. I wouldn't consider it like acid reflux or heartburn or whatever because it doesn't feel like anything other than like fluid coming back up. It's kind of gross. So clumsiness is the next one on here. I would say I have that a little bit. There's a few times where I'll like turn and kind of like lose my balance a little bit. Other than that, I'm not like stumbling. I mean, I've dropped a few things and I'm like, well, they just live there now. No, I'm just kidding. I get them. I pick them up. I like squat down and pick them up. But I mean, at work, there's like a piece of garbage on the floor and I look at it and I'm like, you know, I would love to pick that up, but it's so much work to bend over that far. So I feel bad, but sometimes I just walk past like a tiny little piece of trash in the hallway. I mean, I have a pretty decent excuse. I mean, you saw when I walked in. Headaches are another one on the list. Haven't really had any headaches that I needed to take anything for. Hemorrhoids. Nope. Linea nigra. Okay, this is funny. I actually noticed this a couple of weeks ago. Mine's starting to come in. This says, most expecting moms develop a dark vertical line down the center of their belly called linea nigra. The pregnancy line appears because the hormones, increased progesterone and estrogen, act as melanocytes, the cells that determine the pigment of your skin. So the later in pregnancy you get, a line starts to appear. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see it on mine. I realize I have not shown you like my bare stomach this entire time, which I find really funny. Because I've said multiple times, I'm like, I don't have stretch marks. And you guys are like, sure you don't. But like literally I don't. Look at this perfectly round baby bump. So, I don't know, can you see it? Does it help if I turn this way? Turn this way? Turn this way? Okay. You can kind of see it. There's a line right here that goes all the way up and down my stomach. My poor belly button. Look at this. Oh, it's not officially an outie yet. Okay, so linea nigra, line down your stomach. That started showing up about 2 weeks ago, I want to say. And I like just noticed it. I was like, oh, look at that. Vision changes. I don't think I really had any, not like super noticeable. Yeah, no, I think my vision is about the same still. And that 'tis the end of the pregnancy symptoms. So in the like baby section of my Baby Center app for this week, it says your baby, not my baby, is cushioned and protected by about a quart of amniotic fluid. It increases during pregnancy until about 36 weeks, then gradually decreases until you give birth. I actually didn't know that. I thought it stayed the same amount of fluid and the baby just grew. I mean, obviously it got... What? Okay, obviously when they first implant, they're gonna have like a teeny tiny bit of amniotic fluid, but I thought it got to a certain point and then the baby just kept growing and the fluid stayed the same. Interesting. Kidneys are fully developed. Meconium is building up in their intestines. It's gross. If you don't know what meconium is, Google it. I'm not gonna tell you, it can be a surprise. A baby has distinct sleep patterns. Oh my word, okay. I kid you not, she totally does already. So like I was saying in my last update video, every time I go to the doctor's, every time I meet the intended parents for like lunch or whatever, the baby sleeps like the entire time. And I told that to the doctor, and the doctor like went and like shook up my belly and made the baby wake up because she had been sleeping the entire time during that appointment the last time. So yeah, it's definitely a thing. Yeah, that is the end of that. A friend of mine brought me watermelon lemonade from Dutch Brothers. Didn't know they had watermelon. He didn't need to get me such a gigantic drink though. It's gonna take me forever to drink all that. Okay, there hasn't been a ton of things that have happened. Let me just double check my notes because I don't think I wrote down anything that happened except for that. Yep, okay, so you can't even see it because my phone is so bright, but literally it says 32 weeks on here and I'm 35 weeks. So on Tuesday, this last week, on the 20th, I had been having what I thought were Braxton Hicks contractions, okay? Then I started getting them more frequently and was like, I should track these and see what's going on. So around 11:45, I started keeping track of my contractions. And I'm just gonna put a little screenshot up. So it shows duration, frequency, and then the start, like time of day that the contractions started. So you could see they're over a minute, most of them. There's like one in this whole, two in this whole thing that are less than a minute. So they're about 60 to 90 seconds basically. And then the frequency shows them all over the place. I've got 6 minutes, 4 minutes, 14 minutes, 4 minutes, and at the bottom there's two that are like super far apart, but that's because I stopped tracking them. And so then you can see that's from about 1:15 to 2, so it's about an hour. That's a lot. That's way more than I thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 in an hour. So I called my doctor's office and the nurse called me back within 2 or 3 minutes and was like, you need to go to the hospital. I'm just going to read what I wrote here and then I'll further explain what happened. Not where I expected this day to go. 34 weeks and I've been having some contractions this afternoon. Turns out I was having contractions every 3 to 6 minutes and just couldn't feel half of them. Currently hooked up to the monitors to measure baby's heart rate and my contractions. I told the nurse I'll cross my legs if necessary. It is too early for her to come. They sent me home after testing my urine, doing my group B strep, and then doing the FFN test. FFN is fetal fibronectin test. Okay, so it tests for preterm labor, essentially. It's like a 50-50 thing. Your body starts producing this enzyme, I think she said it was, and this test looks for that enzyme. So if you have it, it means that you might go into labor in the next 7 to 10 days. And if it's negative, it means that you're probably not going to go into labor. So it's like, you might or might not. It's like super scientific. So anyway, they did that. Continuing. The baby was moving around like crazy the whole entire time. She would not hold still. The nurse had to keep coming in to readjust her heart rate monitor because she kept moving away from it. What a stinker. Of course, I kept the intended parents in the loop the whole time. Sent them video of the baby kicking the monitors. And a sound clip of her heartbeat. When she'd hold still for more than 5 seconds, of course. I think the mom was frantically packing their hospital bags just in case. I definitely need to start packing mine. YouTube video to come on that. Like literally wrote this in the hospital. Or after I got home, actually. Still having contractions last night after I got home, but they were mild and didn't hurt most of the time. So far this morning, I think I'm okay. This was Wednesday morning. I haven't noticed any contractions out of the usual every time I stand up. Good thing I already have an appointment set up for Thursday. Okay, here's what happened. This child, I swear, she likes to stretch, and when she stretches, it hurts so much. Okay, so Tuesday, around 11, started noticing cramping. Not cramping, just like Braxton Hicks tightening. So around, 1 o'clock, 1:30, I started really tracking them just to see how many I was having, how often they were. Because they tell you if you have 6 within an hour, you need to go into the hospital. And so I tracked them, called the doctor's office, explained everything, and she's like, okay, well, you need to go in. What hospital are you going to? I'll call them, let them know that you're coming so that they're ready. And I was like, well, here's the thing. I was told to go to Providence by the intended father because we knew that my Providence insurance covered Providence. My Providence insurance does not cover the Adventist hospital where I planned to give birth. And the nurse was like, well, Providence is currently on strike, so they're on divert, which means anyone who is stable that comes into the hospital, they tell them to go somewhere else. And they tell all the ambulances, take your patients to somewhere other than Providence, basically. So they're diverting all their patients away from the hospital because their nurses are on strike. And so I was like, okay, well, let me call my agency and find out. Because if you remember back, I had to get my explanation of benefits for this year for my work insurance and send it to the agency, who then sent it to my intended parents, and they were going to look it over and make sure that it was still the same and that I could deliver at the Adventist hospital. Well, I hadn't heard anything, so the last thing my intended father had said about that was to go to Providence if there was an issue. So I called the agency and I was like, hey, this is going on. What am I supposed to do? And my coordinator was like, I don't know. I was like, okay. Helpful. Thank you. She's like, call your intended parents and see what they say. Because last I heard, they had received your explanation of benefits, explanation of coverage, but they hadn't reached back out to me to say what they wanted to do, if they wanted to keep the extra plan, the insurance plan, or to get rid of it. Anyway, so I called the intended mom because the intended father works full-time and travels frequently. So I wasn't sure if he would even answer the phone. I'm like, I'll just call her. She works from home. She works for herself, all this, there is a whole reason I called her first. And she's like, oh, okay, we'll go to Adventist. I was like, okay. So she apparently just hadn't let the agency know that what they had decided. So I called my doctor's office back, or she called me again, I think, really quickly. She's like, have you decided? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Adventist. She goes, okay, I'll call Providence, tell them never mind. I'll call Adventist, let them know that you're coming, and we'll figure out what's going on. So pack up my stuff, let my boss know, hey, having contractions, was told to go to the hospital. I'm out. Basically, what do you want me to do? I'm not going to stay and work if, I'm going into preterm labor. So she's like, okay, go, let me know. And so I go to the hospital. Get to the hospital. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to check in with the front desk, with patient admissions or patient registration, or just go straight up to labor and delivery. So made a judgment call and walked straight up to labor and delivery, because what are they gonna do? Tell me no? No. So I walk up, and funny enough, there's a woman coming out, and labor and delivery is a closed unit. So they have a door that is shut. There's a phone on the wall. You have to call the nurse's station. They have to buzz you in so the doors will open because they don't want people going in and kidnapping babies. It's a thing. It's sad, but it's a thing. So most hospitals have like a closed, locked. It's a locked unit. That's what it's called. So anyway, I get there. There's a woman coming out. I walk in because the door is already open. I'm not going to wait for the door. Like, stupid. I check in at the desk. She's like, okay, we just had somebody leave. We need to flip the room, which I'm assuming just clean it. Go wait in the waiting room and we'll grab you in a second. So I go sit in the waiting room and it's maybe like 5 minutes. They call me back, take me to a room, you know, leave a urine sample, get comfortable. So I did that, sat down on the bed. She's like, okay, let's hook you up and, you know, see what's going on. She hooked me up to the monitor. Baby's moving around like crazy because you know how she do. She's very active. And then, you know, the nurse starts asking me 20,000 questions, which I expected. She's like, some of these are so stupid, but I'm sorry, I have to ask you them anyway. I was like, no, it's totally fine. Like, go for it. So she starts, you know, rattling off questions and I'm answering them. And she gets to one, she's like, expected pain level. She's like, this is so stupid, but I literally have to answer this one. 0, obviously. Or was it expected or preferred? It was something like that. Like, obviously you don't want pain, so why would you even ask that question? So yeah, she asked me, you know, do you feel safe at home? Is someone preventing you from talking to, you know, all the things? I'm like, no, everything is fine. I'm just like literally just the contractions. Okay. That is the only, it's the only thing I'm here for. But you know, she has to ask all these questions. She's like, do you have any discharge? Are you having any like bleeding or this, that, and the other thing? And I'm like, no, literally just crampy, whatever. So she hooks me up to the monitors and leaves the room. She's like, I'm just gonna leave these here for a little bit and then I'll be back and check and all the stuff. Obviously she has access to the monitors from the nurse's station, so she doesn't need to sit there and worry about me because she probably has other patients too. So anyway, I'm sitting there. She's like, you know, the remote for the bed, there's a call button on there. There's a remote to the TV is the same thing. And I'm like, it's totally fine. And I get on my phone and start messing around on my phone. You know, several minutes go by and the baby is being such a stinker. She is not holding still at all. And there were multiple times the nurse had to come back in and readjust the monitor for her because she would move out of the like range of it. And so I actually got this one picture where she had been on the monitor, was totally fine, and then there's like gaps and then she disappears completely. So she was like scooting out of the way slowly, like trying to sneak off. I was laughing so hard. It was so funny when I looked at it. So, you know, a minute or two later, the nurse comes in. Oh, this kid is such a stinker. She keeps moving away. I'm like, this is not the first time. She does not like those monitors. That was fun. The nurse had to come in like 6 or 7 times and readjust the monitor for her because she kept moving. And at one point, she's like, okay, I'm gonna have you, you know, get dressed from the waist down and we'll do like a couple of tests. I was like, okay. So I get up, get undressed from the waist down. The nurse comes back in to like readjust the monitor. Like I still had the monitors attached to me while I'm doing this, which is super interesting. So the nurse comes back in and she's like, oh my word, look at what the baby was doing while you were getting undressed. And the thing was like this, like she was just all over the place. I'm like, I know, she's feisty. I've been saying this since day one. Anyway, so I was there for maybe 3 hours. The nurse kept saying like, I'm not worried about the baby at all. She's clearly very active, but did the test. They all came back negative or within normal range. And at one point, the nurse told me, she's like, you are the most hydrated pregnant woman I have had in a very long time. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, thank you, I think. Like, what do you say to that? That is such a random compliment. But I was like, yeah, I've literally had 2 or 3 of these today. So it's not like I was drinking a ton of water. Yeah, it was such a weird compliment. So yeah, I left the hospital around 6, I think. Got there at 2:30, 3 o'clock. Of course, I was texting the intended parents the whole time. And apparently the intended father was driving back from visiting his dad over Father's Day weekend. I had no idea. Like, I texted our group, because we have a group text that has the 2 of them and then me in it. And I kept texting the group and it was only the mom that was responding. And I was like, maybe he's flying, maybe he's on a conference call. Like, I didn't know what was happening with him. No, he was driving in the car and had planned to stop somewhere. And when he got my text, or the intended mom's text, or whatever she called him, he decided to cancel his hotel and just keep driving. So he drove really far. But yeah, that was exciting. Yeah, contractions every like 3 to 6 minutes. I took a picture of the monitor strip of them and you can see the little hump of the contractions. So the nurse, she's like, you know, we have to rule out all these things. I was like, yeah, I totally get it, because sometimes infections can cause contractions. Not my case, just my body is practicing super early. Like, I'm not about it. The nurse said, you know, some women, they just have contractions the whole 4 to 6 weeks before they deliver. Just randomly, all day, every day. Super fun, and I feel like I'm that lucky one in whatever the statistic is, because I'm still having them. I've been having them every day. So it's Sunday right now. So since Tuesday, I've been having them every day. And sometimes they hurt, sometimes they don't, and it's just super tight. Like right now, it's super tight, my stomach. So she told me when I left the hospital, she was like, go home, take a bath, take a shower, like relax, don't go to work tomorrow if you're still having contractions. So of course, you know, I go to work the next day and everyone is like, why are you here? Shouldn't you be on bed rest? Like, oh my goodness. No, I'm fine. I didn't have any contractions before I came to work. So like, what do you expect of me? I'm still gonna show up, obviously. Yeah, I mean, they're super random and most of the time don't hurt. There's occasional ones where I'm like, holy crap, what is happening in there? And I honestly think it's more the baby than it is a contraction, because she has done some things recently where, like, let me get up. Her foot will start here and will like slide across the top of my stomach. And I'm like, ow, what is happening? Like, she pushes so freaking hard. This has been the most painful pregnancy for sure. Between like the hematoma that I had and the cramping that I had for like 2 months. And then you know, now she's kicking hard and the cramping, contractions, those are super fun. But the nurse wasn't concerned about it because she said they're so mild. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, how would you rate your pain? I was like, honestly, it's like a 1 or a 2. It's just enough that I notice it, but it's not painful enough that I can't do like normal things. And so she's like, well, because they're not like super painful, we don't need to check you to see if you're dilating it at all, because apparently they go hand in hand and you can't have one without the other. Yeah, she's like, go home, take a bath, relax. Sorry, like, this is just something you're gonna have to live with, basically. So when I went to the doctor on Thursday, doctor didn't say anything about it. Not a thing. I mean, clearly the nurses weren't concerned, so the doctor's not going to be concerned either. The 6th of July will be my next doctor's appointment, and she's going to have me start doing the non-stress tests. And I was like, your medical assistants are going to have like a run for their money because this baby is not going to hold still. They're going to have to come in and keep repositioning it. If the hospital was any indication, like, she's not going to be happy and she's just going to keep moving. By that time, I will be 36 weeks. I did pack my hospital bag yesterday. 95% done. I've got a couple of things coming from Amazon that I need to add to it that I didn't have on hand, because who keeps lanolin on hand? Like, no one. What was the other thing? It was like nipple cream, lanolin. It's good for like chapped skin. And a phone charger, like a long phone charger. I use a charging dock. So I have like my phone, my watch, and my AirPods can all charge on the same thing. But I didn't want to have to unplug that and bring it with me every time I leave the house. So I'm just going to buy a 6-foot cord and put it in the bag. I also needed to get another silicone bath scrubber because I don't use a loofah. I use a silicone. It has these little like thingies on it. I'll link it in the description, the one that I bought, because they're really good. Like, they're better than a loofah, honestly, because you rinse them out and they're perfectly clean. They're dishwasher safe, so you can wash them and keep using them, and they don't like, you know how loofahs like come apart after a while? Yeah, there's none of that. So it's great. I love the silicone ones. If you're interested in watching my packing video, and you can watch that. It is a surrogate specific packing bag, hospital bag packing video, whatever. So if you're a surrogate, it's good stuff. I need to start laundry. I need to do dishes. My son is currently over at my grandparents' house working, pulling weeds. He wants to make money. So my mom was like, hey, grandma will pay you if you come and help plant tomatoes and help pull weeds. She'll pay you. So he's earning a little extra money today, which is nice because he's out of the house, but also sucks because he's out of the house and can't clean up any of his crap. So I have to continue to look at it until he gets home. I will see you guys next week. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment. I will answer them. I know people are like, is it okay? Can I ask you? Like, yes, please do. I would rather get the correct information out there. This is like the main reason I'm making this video, or these videos about surrogacy. It's for education, so you can learn something. Speaking of which, I've tried to end this video like 3 different times. This is my pregnancy planner that I created for surrogates. I have 5 different versions of the front cover. The inside, it's all the same. But in the back, this is my packing list that I used. It also has a birth plan page or 2. It's a front and back page. So yeah, if you're a surrogate, get yourself one of these. It's got a lot of good stuff in it. There's a med calendar. There's weekly calendars that give like size of the baby and weekly affirmations and spots to write in like calendar events and so much. There's so much good stuff in these things, you guys. Definitely check them out. Okay, now I'm done. I will see you guys in the next video. If I don't go into labor before then, oh goodness. I can't. She cannot come early. I can't. I will cross my legs. She cannot come early. I have plans. If she comes early, my plans are all screwed up. I have a vacation planned for September. If she comes early, like, it's gonna mess up my whole maternity leave and I'll have to like go back to work earlier and take a, no, just just no, you stay. Okay? You just stay. Be a good girl for once. Oh, I didn't show you my bump. Oh, my word. Okay, let's do this. There it is. I'm just kidding. Hold on. Can you tell the difference between the couch and my leggings? I feel like I blend in. But yeah, here it is. Big and round. Look at this. I didn't realize how round it is. Oh, I cracked myself up. That's all I have for today's video. I've been talking far too long, and hopefully this video I can get edited fast enough so that you get it on time, because it's kind of been a cluster when it comes to getting the videos out on time. I'm sorry. My life is kind of busy at the moment, so I don't have a ton of time to edit these videos. If you would like to follow me on social media, I will link those down below. I actually posted on a couple of my socials on Tuesday when I was at the hospital, so it's more like current up-to-date information instead of waiting for the vlog video to come out, you know, a week after the fact. Yeah, if you're interested, you can follow me there. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and like my content, because it's gonna keep coming. Yeah, and I fully intend to pump breast milk afterwards. I know some surrogates are like, no way, not me, I'm not doing that. I pump breast milk after I deliver. If you're interested in breast pumping content, you can subscribe for that, because that will be happening here shortly, hopefully not too shortly. Funny enough, the intended mom, after the doctor's appointment, we were talking outside, and she's like, oh, we can't wait to meet you, you know, like touching my belly and stuff. And I was like, no. I am in charge still. I was like, I am in charge. You do not come out. We are not doing this. Because it is too early. I do not want her to have to spend time in the NICU, and it is too soon. You stay. Oh, don't you kick me. She's kicking me right now. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, she's spicy. I'm telling you. Parents are gonna have a run for their money for sure. You know, I keep pushing wherever it hurts, thinking that it's gonna make it stop contracting. It doesn't. It really doesn't.